Coco is the latest Disney Pixar film, and it's from the director of Toy Story 3, so this is gonna be really good, hopefully. And this movie is about a kid named Miguel who lives in Mexico, and he's preparing for the Day of the Dead festival that's going to take place. His idol is a musician who goes by the name Ernesto de la Cruz. However, this musician was a while ago and he passed, and so he wants to follow in his footsteps. However, his family is not on board with the whole musical shtick, and they would rather have him be in the shoe business, which is what his family does, because of reasons that pertain to their family's past regarding music. However, when he finds an ancestral link to try and get himself into music, he decides to steal De La Cruz's guitar from his old home. However, playing it leads him to a world where the dead live, and he's trying to find a bridge of trying to get music into his family's life, as well as the idea of trying to be a better person maybe, and trying to bring his family together and not keeping them divided. This is a film that I actually knew nothing about, so when I walked into the film and when I saw the little bit of story that was being given in the beginning, I was actually kind of interesting, and after watching the film, I have to say this was a really nice movie. And I do mean that. This is a beautiful film, telling this really good story about this kid, which can be a little familiar at times, and that is a thing with this movie, which I do have a little gripe with. But aside from that, the way he discovers it and the way he has ties to his family is so great, and the relationships he builds with them. The film is also excellent in showing a different side of culture. Usually in Pixar movies, we've seen that there's always seems to be a focus on, okay, we're in America right now, this is what's going on. Very few times they've actually veered into different territories. However, Disney's been doing some new stuff recently, because with Moana, they went to Hawaii, and now over here, we're going to Mexico. And the film has a really good way of portraying this culture and the belief system, and I really like that the film is actually promoting this, that we're getting to see different sides of the world now, and that's done really, really well in this movie. And the voice casting for it is also brilliant. In fact, there are things in this movie which are exclusively in Spanish, and I thought that was really great because it really added to the flavor of the film and what it's going for. This is actually one of the creative decisions that I really appreciate in this movie. The animation, I don't have to tell you whether Pixar movie has excellent animation, but I'm going to anyway. This movie has excellent animation. It looks absolutely beautiful. There are photorealistic images in this movie that might as well be actually real, and animation put over them. Kind of like how they did with a few shots of The Good Dinosaur, or I believe most of Good Dinosaur. But that was not a very good movie, so yeah. That is so great about this film. It looks beautiful. The soundtrack is just wow. This is a brilliant soundtrack. Every single thing from the songs to the score by Michael Giacchino, it all really works really well. The writing's also really great. The film's directed beautifully, and you can see the amount of effort that's put into this. The amount that went into creating this world and what we see in it. And it raises so many questions about what life is like after we die, and how our ancestors, if they were ever there around us, what would they think of us, and how, if we don't think of them the same way in the future, what would they, well, think of that. And the idea of all of these things is really sweet. This film is also really emotional at times in that sense, because there are things about characters that Miguel meets in this world of the dead just before the Day of the Dead that were also really quite interesting, and it led to some beautiful moments. Towards the finale of this film, you probably will tear up a little bit, because the film does build to this really emotional climax, and there was quite a few people crying in the theater. There was a girl behind me who was like, "Man, my eyes are burning. My eyes are burning. It's all that's going on." I completely sympathize with that. My only issue with it is that sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, it does get a little familiar. There are certain plot points in it that you have seen before in other movies that kind of take you out of it, because this is such a unique movie for the most part that when you see a few familiar plot beats, it kind of seems like, oh, we're going so well for a second there with the originality, but then this a couple of little things came in. Aside from that, the film really works well. It's beautifully done. This is one of Pixar's best movies in a while, and it's not one of their best movies ever, though it might be upon looking at it more and more in the future. But I really enjoyed what they did with Coco, and I can't wait to see it again. I'm gonna give Coco a 9.5 out of 10. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. If you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.